Alright everyone, welcome back to some more of the house in Fata Morgana. I want to thank you all for the love and support you've been giving this game. I really appreciate it, especially the likes. All welcome, thank you so much. Most importantly guys, Mikkel and Giselle are getting real close lately and it's showing and I'm loving it. I really am. It's only because we've been hit with so much like dark, painful tragedy, or should I say tragic stuff lately that it's just been it's a breath of fresh air to finally see something nice for a change, you know, something good going for them. And I can't wait to see how this all comes about, because I'm hoping that end game here they finally get the happiness they deserve, you know. So with that said guys, I hope you all continue to enjoy watching and let's get to it. Alright everyone, we're back. That was the first time I had gotten a good look at her in the light. I could see facial features I had missed during yesterday's commotion, and those glittering eyes. Not even a trace of the tribulation she had endured tainted her pure jade eyes. She's surprisingly good looking. I am clearly not myself right now. Is something the matter, Master? I know. You're still half asleep, aren't you? I guess I'm just going to have to throw my best bucket of water on you. What is a best bucket of water? I'm awake. I'm awake. Is there something on my face then? Just far too amusing a sight to wake up to. Amusing? Let's get out of bed already. What a noisy morning. I got my first decent look at Mikkel's face under the light that morning, watching him stifle a yawn as he crawled out of bed. All the little details I hadn't been able to pick up on in the darkness, his expressions, mannerisms, and the way he looked at me. I could see facial features I had missed during yesterday's commotion, and those vivid, all-consuming red eyes. I was probably, no, almost certainly, making a really dumb face at him. Is it just me? Or is he kind of, no, very pretty? How could I have not noticed until now? Oh geez, wow, I can't even look him in the eyes. Yes? What can I do for you? Is there something on my face? What? No, Huh? Hair monster! Excuse me? No, your hair. It's really long. Yes, that's it. Way too long. Ho ho, is that any way for a servant to speak to her master? I'm just kidding. I don't have any interest in holding your status against you anymore. It's so weird seeing him smile sincerely. I'm not used to it. I see. It's really hard to tell if he's joking or not. So, about that cleaning. May I wash my face first? What? You're going to help? As I just said, I'm not going to act like I'm superior to you anymore. What are you snickering about? I can't help it. I'm happy. If my hair really does bother you, you can cut it. Huh? I can cut it? Oh, of course! I'll give you the best haircut you've ever had! Oh, but I should warn you, you'll want to stay perfectly still. I'm a monster with a pair of scissors. My sister always said you were as likely to lose an ear as you were your hair whenever I cut it. You stay away from me! I was shocked at how much more comfortable I felt around her only one day following our opening up to each other. Maybe this was normal, and I had simply never felt it before. I didn't know. I had thought it would take years of work to get close enough to someone to be able to have a conversation without picking apart every little detail. But here I was, a day later, already there. Was that how it usually worked? Did people normally get close and draw parts so freely? I didn't find it unpleasant to have someone else around. It was a strange feeling. All that friction had dissipated in an instant, and it was like we had known each other for years. Though not entirely willingly, we began sharing meals, something I had always done by myself. Hey, I see you shoving aside that parsnip. You need to eat everything. Do you have any idea why there was so much rotting parsnip in the cellar? I don't care for it. You could at least pretend to be ashamed. Yeesh, you're not a kid, so don't be so picky. It's not good for you. Hasn't caused any problems thus far. It will soon enough. I can't believe you. We have limited supplies and you won't eat your vegetables. Ooh, question, I got an idea. Go on. Is the list of supplies sent by your family set in stone? Meaning? I was just wondering if it was possible to make requests. If I could, I would just go out on a shopping trip. Perish the thought. The only village around here is the one you came from. Right. Say, are you saying that out of concern for... Who would ever be concerned about you? I just want to be able to sleep well at night. And I'm not interested in throwing more servants to the lions. You know, you're a whole lot simpler of a person than I first thought. What's that supposed to mean? Oh, nothing. Back to your question about the delivery. Yes, you can. I haven't made any requests recently, but you can write what you want on a sheet of parchment, or, if you don't have any, something similar. Put it in the box and leave it outside. As long as your request is not completely unreasonable, it should arrive with the next package. Why? Is there something you need? Yeah, I was hoping to increase our selection of vegetables. And while I'm at it, if possible. Actually, that's a secret. A secret? It's nothing too exciting. I'll tell you when the time is right. Well, that music is really happy. Hopefully that music isn't a copyright claim. My relationship with Mikhail gradually transitioned from master and servant to something closer to friends. He was still my master, but he allowed me almost complete freedom. And he didn't order me around either. He even gave me a hand with my work. Though he was still not very talkative and oftentimes hard to read, he at least seemed to be making an effort to close the gap. He would on occasion tell me about himself, though not in much detail, and any time his family came up, he grimaced uncomfortably. Apparently his father had wanted him dead. His brothers, though, had worked to create a scenario in which he could live, faking his death and sending him to this remote mansion. I had never encountered Mikhail's brothers while at his family's estate, but assuming he was right and it was one of them who had given me that letter, they were likely our only allies at the house. I don't know what he's thinking. It's been 10 years, Mikhail had muttered, to which I had replied, have faith. It was better to believe in something, even if it felt silly and unreasonable, than to lose faith in everything. My being able to find renewed belief in the kindness of people was what had allowed me to start smiling again after all. Because I was able to have that faith, I was able to enjoy life once more. It wasn't an exciting or thrilling life. It was a humble, simple one with just the two of us. But I wouldn't trade that light for anything. Some people might think it dull or dreary, but it was ours. Master, I really truly appreciate that you want to help with the cooking. I do, honestly, but... This is apocalyptic. This is mutinous. This is an affront to gastronomy. This is unearthly, disgusting. Get me better ingredients. What? I am not a bad cook. These are simply bad ingredients. If they were better, they would taste just fine boiled. And it's not as bad as you claim, besides. You make a mockery of the culinary arts? I've been eating this for years. I don't see the problem. I've heard quite enough, Master. It sounds like I'm gonna need to put your taste buds through some intense rehabilitation. I have to teach him what real food tastes like. Otherwise, he won't be able to appreciate it if I make him something really good. Hold the chair steady for me, will you? I'm gonna wipe down the top shelf. I can handle it. I'm tall enough to reach without standing on a chair. It's not as simple as just running a rag over it. I've got to practice, so let me take care of it, alright? There's a lot more dust than I expected. I probably should have used something to cover my mouth. You're gonna want to hold your breath for this, Master. Alright, here goes. She's quite practiced. Is there any need for me to be holding the chair? Oh, she sneezed. I thought she was screaming for something else. Achoo! Here we go again. What? Whoa, whoa! Hey, hold the chair! Oh, ow. I'm so sorry. I didn't think there would be that much dust. Thank you for holding the... Master? Your hand is... What? Your hand is, it's on my chest. I know, it was an accident. Right, it was. It's fine, really. It was my fault anyway. It's completely, totally fine. I can't even look her in the eyes. Could this be any more painfully awkward? So, don't worry about it, Master. Honestly, I should be apologizing for subjecting you to that. That's easier said than done. I have to do something about this stifling awkwardness. For one, it was only for a moment. I barely even realized what it was. But that's not the issue. I need some clever way to brush all this aside. Something witty that tells her I'm not bothered at all. I'm not concerned. In fact, I see no reason to be concerned at all. It felt like I was squeezing an obese rat. Oh man! Why? I had a feeling he was gonna say something stupid. Thinking it would be a suave way to, evade the subject. I hardly even perceived it as a breast. An obese rat? An obese rat? What? How utterly insensitive can you be? I'm gonna rip every last hair off your head! Gah! Leave my hair out of this! Say, Master, what did you do all this time all by yourself? That's an exceedingly vague question. Say, when you were really, really stupidly bored out of your mind, what did you do to keep yourself occupied? Meditate? Just how many times have you reached enlightenment? I sometimes play chess too. Chess? Wait, by yourself? Yes, I imagine how an opponent might react to my moves and play the other side that way. That's kind of depressing to think about. How about this, Master? Play a game against me. Do you know the rules? You bet I do. I do come from a family of merchants, so I keep up with trends and know all sorts of games. Oh-ho! Prepare to meet your maker. So, who was I supposed to prepare to meet again? Ugh. Oh wait, I missed that one. Let's go back. One more time. I just want to stand at the top of my game. Okay. When am I gonna meet this maker? What? How? When did you put me in checkmate? One more. Hold on, that's not fair. Take it back. My king. Please stop. Amateur. Can't you just go a little bit easy? You never asked me to go easy. This isn't a game. This is slaughter. This is a one-sided massacre. About this maker. I'm looking right at him. That was actually kind of fun. No, it wasn't. It was miserable. Next time we're playing something fair. Such as... let's see. Ooh, I know. Arm wrestling. Huh? Arm wrestling? Yeah, you sit across from each other, put your elbow on the table, grab hands, and see who can pin the other down. Who would ever willingly participate in such a primitive competition? Not interested then? Or are you afraid you might lose? Alright then. I can't imagine losing to a woman. Okay, elbow on the table. Start on my count. Ready? Go! Victory! I had a feeling he was gonna lose, by the way. He's been in that mansion, cooped up by himself all this time. It was only a matter of time he lost something. Especially a game of strength. She's so giddy now. That's good. The passage of time, and they're having fun throughout. With each passing day, it grew less and less unusual having Giselle always at my side. I began more freely engaging in silliness, speaking my mind, and showing emotion. I could say her name, and Giselle would turn around and smile at me, an unimaginable sight not long ago. For 10 years I had lived alone. Solitude had been my normal. But that was very rapidly changing at her hands. We were continually getting closer, yes, but not in a romantic sense. If I had to describe it, I would say good friends was probably the most apt. Time continued to press on, our relationship remaining relatively stable. Eventually, summer came, bringing with it the longest periods of sunlight I had experienced in many years. I was gonna say I had ever. Then the leaves began falling from the trees, and before long, the world grew cold and dreary. That winter, the fireplace was never without a crackling blaze in its belly. The boiled wine we drank was undoubtedly middling and cheap. But she said with a smile, I'd never had wine this good before. And though I didn't say anything, I felt the same way. The sun set much earlier, and having stopped using candles, we found ourselves habitually gathering around the fireplace when it grew dark. Reading a story by the fireplace like this almost makes it feel like we're in another world, doesn't it, Master? I bet that's why troubadours perform at pubs, so they can be near the fire. Or because there's ale. Drunkenness makes even bad singing and storytelling pleasant to the ears. Oh, you're such a cynic. But that's okay. Say. Yes? Do you remember when I first arrived here? When I was cleaning the library? Please don't tell me you're bringing the obese rat incident back up. No, not that. Before that. Before we could actually talk to each other. I believe I suggested we read something together if you ever felt the inclination. You might have. I can't say I remember. Are you sure about that? You turned down my proposal saying I was wasting my time. But look, it actually happened. Even if you don't remember, I'm sure you never thought this moment would come. I was, for the most part, focused on making sure things didn't get any worse between us. But to be honest, I didn't expect there would ever actually come a time we would sit shoulder to shoulder and read a book. You never know how things might pan out. I actually do remember. I remember how I tried to push her away. How much I mistrusted her. I was nothing but hostile towards her. People change. And perhaps, if they can, so can the future. Maybe I can hope that, like our friendship, there's a chance the future might take a turn for the better. Is something the matter? I don't much care for hypotheticals, but if by some chance I were someday to be able to return to that house, should that time come, that house is home to her nightmares. But even if it didn't happen until after my father was gone, it wouldn't erase what we had done to her. It wouldn't erase what we had done to her there. She acts like nothing's wrong though. I don't know. Have her wounds healed, or do they still remain? I feel like those are the types of things that would never truly go away. But the fact that they're, you know, they're getting closer, they're bonding. It's making things more doable for her. Yeah, that's probably not the word I want to use because it's better. You know, she's better for it because he's become more trusting. Should that time come, if that day comes, I will do what I can to ensure you have a comfortable life in the city. Though I will not be able to inherit the estate, I can work something out. I see. Thank you very much. But if you would be comfortable doing so, I would be pleased if you were to join me. I mean as a servant. Yes, a servant. We're, short on hands. I see. A servant. Do I really need to repeat myself? Yes, as a servant. Alright, sure, I think I will. I would like to accompany you, Master. How exciting. I'm sure a wonderful future awaits us. I pray so. Now back to the story. I believe we had just gotten to the point where the knight set out to defeat the monster and save the princess. I bet he was a big, buff, muscular knight. Let's not talk about how muscular he was. She let out a gentle laugh, and I thought I smelled something sweet on her breath. Was it her scent? Or perhaps just my imagination? I had no way of knowing. We sat so close, even the slightest shift seemed sufficient to allow me to hear the sound of her heartbeat, causing mine to accelerate. Curiosities flooded my mind. What might she be thinking right now? What does she think about me? And as much as I tried to banish them, I frustratingly failed. I was just getting caught up in the moment. I had just briefly lost my way. Though I had tried to convince myself otherwise, it was all in vain. When had my pulse gotten so rapid? When had my skin gotten so flushed? When? How? Why was this happening to me? I thought I had already learned my lesson about having feelings for someone else. Before long, winter retreated and our second spring came to take its place. A full year had passed since we had resumed living together, and I don't think it was my imagination that this year felt much warmer than last. Spring seemed to have arrived a bit earlier than in previous years. One night, when the breeze carried on its pleasant residual warmth, Giselle escorted me out to the garden. Come on, Master, hurry up! It's the middle of the night. What's so important? I just found it myself, and I couldn't wait until morning. A rose! It's blossomed! A rose? Giselle had, over the past year, cleaned up the nest of weeds that had been strangling the garden. Off to the side of a small plot of turned soil, swaying in the wind beneath the moonlight, was a single red rose. When did you? Last year I requested flower seeds, but I just couldn't get them to grow, and I was starting to think they never would. But look, it's only one, but it did. I had no idea. Of course you didn't. I didn't tell you. Well, why would you keep it from me? I wanted to make it a gift for you, Master. What? Why? Roses make wonderful gifts, supposedly. No, that's not what I meant. Why me? I haven't given you anything. Consider it a symbol of my hope that we'll still be close and we'll still be this close another year from now. Sometimes, guys, sometimes. This whole audiobook thing. it's hard on my vocals. If we are, then this is yours. I don't follow her reasoning. I don't follow it at all, but the sight of the deep red rose almost melting into the dark night was perhaps the most wondrous thing I had ever seen in my life. I had never understood why some people found flowers so enchanting. They were always just plants to me. But that one, on that night, was undeniably beautiful, majestic. And like a young child seeing a flower for the first time, my hand automatically reached out for it. Not knowing the proper way to appreciate flowers, I didn't gently caress its petals or take in its fragrance, but snapped its stem. Oh, you picked it. Are you gonna bring it back to your room? When I finally processed her question, that was when I realized I probably should have left it to grow in the garden. From the base of its stem where I had plucked it, a droplet succumbed to gravity and fell to the earth. When it came, the delayed realization that I had ended the plant's life. But it was overpowered by childish possessiveness. This stunning flower was mine. Moonlight trickled down from the heavens, giving a gentle bluish tint to my hands and a smile on her face. You're going to need a vase then. Give me just a minute. For the briefest moment, the moonlight must have played a trick on my mind. Oh, nice. Huh? Master? What on earth am I doing? A look of bewilderment filled Giselle's face just inches from mine, which hammered in the reality of what I had just done. The thought had just crossed my mind that perhaps her black hair might prove a good backdrop for the rose, but it was supposed to remain a simple fancy. What was that about? An excuse. I need a good excuse. A drawing. A drawing? Right, I would like to preserve it on canvas. What? What? I mean, that a rose on its own does not make a very compelling picture, so I would like to include you as an accessory. Wait, you want to draw me too? Merely as a background element. You're slightly more interesting than a vase, that's all. I've never seen you draw anything before. I just never got the urge. You know how? Many years ago, my brother taught me. I don't think I can handle being a model. I've never had drawing done of me before. You would probably be better off with just a rose. You gave it to me, didn't you? That means I'm free to do with it as I please. I did. I didn't mean to sound so rude. I had no real interest in drawing the rose, but I couldn't just take it back either. I like how seriously close they're getting now. Especially for Mikkel, it's an improvement. Giselle had shrunk back quite visibly, and I couldn't bring myself to look her in the eyes. So I fled to the cellar in search of supplies to escape the oppressive awkwardness. At the far wall, I found a rectangular panel of wood and several sticks of charcoal. My materials were obviously nothing compared to what a court artist might use, but I was clearly not going to be able to do the portrait in any kind of justice. God, what am I doing? I want to bury my head in the sand. Giselle was waiting for me in the stained glass chamber. It seemed she was still as uncomfortable as when I had left her. She gave me a fleeting glance before averting her gaze again. If only she would laugh or make a scene like usual, it would make things so much easier. Why did she have to choose now to start acting meek? What should I be doing? Stay perfectly still, please. Do you need me to pose or anything? No, just get comfortable. Look away. Why? It's hard to work when you're watching me. What? I feel like I have to sneeze. Hold it in, please. What now? Can I see it? I've barely drawn anything yet. As long as our eyes didn't meet, I was able to observe her, and my gaze was quite clearly not focused on the rose. But Giselle. At first I had regretted my in-the-moment proposition, but I was beginning to think it hadn't been such a bad idea. Without some sort of pretext, I would never have been able to examine her so intently. I didn't have that kind of courage. This isn't like me. But what was like me? Did I prefer being a sharp-tongued, unapproachable recluse? Was that what I wanted to strive for? Giselle was like a gale. Her mere presence dispersed the gloomy cloud that always hovered around me. Thinking about it, it's practically a miracle that we ever ended up so comfortable around each other. That she's still here right now. Light from the moon spilled through the stained glass window, taking on a multitude of pale tones before falling on her white skin and jade eyes. I had stopped sketching at some point. What in the world was going on? One of my roses had finally bloomed, which I thought would put a smile on Mikhail's face. But rather than improve his mood, it made him go all strange. It had made him say he wanted to draw something. I had never seen Mikhail draw anything before. Ugh, I can't sit still. I tried to sneak peeks of him every once in a while, but any time our eyes met, he gave me a stern look, that way stare. So I ended up spending a whole lot of time looking at the archangel in the stained glass window. What could he be thinking? Could this be thanks for the rose? I'm pretty sure he's not the type who would consider a drawing an expression of gratitude, though. If I'm wrong about that, it'll turn my whole world upside down. Maybe he wanted to draw me? No, not possible. That would turn the world upside down even faster. He couldn't. We're close, to be sure, but we're not that kind of close. That makes it sound like Mikhail's attracted to me. Alright guys, I'm gonna have to end the video here for today. Looks like things are getting pretty sweet. And I say that wholesomely because this has been like one of the best parts of the story so far. Not that the previous tales that we've been seeing lately haven't been great. They've been spectacular in their own right. It's just I like these types of stories the most though. So I'm glad they're bonding, they're getting closer, and I can't wait to see how it all comes together. Like, we know there's like some semblance of tragedy because that's the theme here. But I want to know, and I'm hoping that these two get their, what they deserve. The happiness that they were always wanting. So anyways, guys, thank you all for watching. Until the next one.